The next pick, Jared McCann, Toronto Maple Leafs. Okay. Now we need to talk about this.
Listen, I get it. Okay. Let's talk about being a fan. The Leafs are losing Zach Hyman. And tomorrow. It makes it tomorrow. And it makes a lot of sense. If they manage to trade him to Edmonton and he signs an 8-year deal there, or trade him to Edmonton, I don't give a shit how long his deal is if the Leafs get something out of it, great. What did you want? The Leafs to sign him to it? No. Let me be sad that a player I like is leaving. I like Zach Hyman a lot. It doesn't make sense I know. Let me be sad. It didn't make sense for the Leafs to keep Reimer either. I was still sad. I like him. Mm-hmm. That's what being a fan is. What, I'm not allowed to be a fan of players anymore? Shut up. So on that note, I got excited for the Leafs to get Jared McCann. I did. I got very excited. And I let my guard down. And they got him, and I'm like, well, they're not going to lose him for nothing. And then they did. And that made me sad. But wait a sec. Steve, the logic. They gave up a former second. They gave up Philip Hollander and a 7th rounder 3 drafts from now. Who dropped something?
That was my phone. Sorry.
Oh, geez. I hope it's okay. They gave up a 7th rounder 3 drafts from now, 2 years from now, and Philip Hollander, which is less than a 1st and a 3rd, which is what Seattle was asking for. It's a little galaxy-brained, but it's actually quite clever and smart and thinking outside of the box. It's straight up the right thing to do. But let me be sad that I got excited for a sec that they finally got a guy that I've been talking about for years, and they lost him 4 days later. Is that allowed? Is that allowed? The Leafs, here's who the Leafs lost. Philip Hollander in a 7th. That's a lot less than most teams lost. They didn't lose anybody off the roster. Did Hollander even play games for the organization? Did he ever play games for the Marlies? Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. The Leafs this week lost a lot less than most teams lost.
Some teams lost. Some teams lost.
Yeah, some teams lost less. I don't know.
Way less.
But
the New
I wanted
Jersey
Jared
pick
McCann.
less, you know.
Don't tell me McDermott from LA was on par with McCann.
Well,
McCann's not what they lost. That's the thing here. It's a 7th in Holland.
So here's the thing. They did, though. He was in their possession.
Yeah, but they were going to lose someone.
Right.
They had to lose someone.
Here's my issue. Okay. This and somebody tweeted me this, and I love this. And you cannot counter this with. I'll go.
Might
trade a 7th pick for the person's like, if you trade a 7th pick for Gretzky and you leave Gretzky unprotected and choose instead to shield a run-of-the-mill defenseman, then Seattle takes Gretzky. Ha ha. Well, the Leafs only lost the 7th when you think about it. And if you read this tweet, he said, if you read this tweet and you counter McCann isn't Gretzky, you're avoiding the point. The fact is, these guys had an opportunity to make a change in terms of what they were able to get. They could have stolen McCann, and they could have dropped a run-of-the-mill defenseman, quote unquote, on Seattle. Now, I have been a proponent from the beginning. The Leafs should have protected Kerfoot, and McCann would have never been a Leaf at that point, right? At that point, it's like if you're doing 7 forwards, 3 defensemen,
you could have done both.
Well, you could protect them both, I guess.
You could have.
Could you have?
There was absolutely a scenario where the Leafs could have. So they would have had to expose Hall. Then they could have protected Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander, Kerfoot, McCann. Throw a name out. I don't know. Engvall, Simmons, doesn't matter. That was the problem. They only really had 6 forwards worth protecting.
Right. So you could have. And so a lot of people are coming back to me and saying, listen, Justin Hall is pretty tough to replace at $2 million. And fair. That is fair.
That is true.
It is hard to find guys who make $2 million.
A homegrown right-hand defenseman. The Leafs have very few of those.
And the best part of the Leafs last year was their defense. The defense was not a problem. And you found someone who you can staple next to Muzzin, and it just works.
You can staple anyone next to Muzzin. Every defensive partner Muzzin had this year had positive effects. Look up Dermott and Muzzin. They were great together.
But but it works.
Jake Muzzin. It's not Justin Hall. And guys, my issue is asset management here. You take the best player available and you figure the rest out later.
But then you lose Hollander, a 7th, and Hall. Instead, you lose Hollander and a 7th.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to look
McCann.
at it. Nope.
McCann was property of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Am I fucking crazy here? Or was he a Toronto Maple Leaf? Was he not the selection of the Toronto Maple Leafs?
You're ignoring the purpose of the trade.
Right. I know what the purpose of the trade is. The premise of the purpose is what I'm arguing is wrong.
It's just a delayed 3-way trade is all it was. It's you're sending McCann to Seattle is how you can just look at it.
I can't look at it like that.
Okay.
They had an opportunity to have a guy. Here's the problem with the Leafs, and I don't think people have realized it yet. I know you guys do. But it's shocking to me how few people have realized that this team has no forward depth beyond the big four. And without Hyman, it's going to get worse. Yeah, but they were not going to protect Kerfoot in the first place. He was going to be the guy that was exposed. I don't think Leafs management understands how thin they are. I don't think
it's July 21st and the trade window is not even open. Like this is something we criticize on August 5th when the free agency window's open. The trade window has been open for like 2 weeks. And then we take an assessment of what the management has done with the team that didn't perform in the playoffs. Right now, it's like, okay, there hasn't been time to do anything. The draft hasn't happened yet.
We criticized Holland. So
because he's done things, he's done some
the Holland deal
with the team. Like they did Keith, they lost Larson. Like there's been some movement in Edmonton, but there's still time. Like this isn't the opening day roster. This is not October 13th. We don't know what the Leafs are going to look like. So saying that they failed in the forward group isn't a correct assessment of their team going.
I think it is to this point. I think
but there's not enough time to do anything.
It's a failure. It is. You've lost the more valuable player. And then let me throw this at you guys. And I don't know if you've heard this because you probably were on the air. Chris Johnson said today on Sportsnet that the Leafs are not going to he doesn't see them making a big move. When he was on with us a few weeks ago, he said, I think they're going to have to. Now he thinks they're going to bargain shop. So they are running this roster back.
I'm going to save... I'm emotionally exhausted from this past season for a variety of reasons, right? I'm going to save my anger for when I need to be mad.
Okay.
I don't need to be mad yet. I don't need to be mad yet. Okay. August 1st is soon and it's forever away. That trade, the hold on trades.
Trade freeze.
Jesus, thank you. It's late. 11:15 at night. The trade freeze is going to lift. Then there's day 1 of the draft where everyone loses their minds. Then there's day 2 of the draft where everyone loses their minds. Then there's going to be a few days for everyone to continue to lose their mind before free agency when everyone loses their mind. And then day 2, day 3, day 4 is when we get into danger territory because then you're at a dance with no dance partner. And then you're calling up, you're trying to figure out trades. I want to see what they come up with here. And I'm not going to have the full picture now. Now, speaking of dates, let's go back. Let's go back to July 15th. That was a week ago. 6 days ago. Let's go back to July 15th. Oh, God. Okay. Who are the Leafs going to lose? Who are they going to lose? And then I appear from a vortex and I go, Steve, I'm you from 6 days from now. And the first question I ask is, does your neck feel better? And I go, a little. And then the second question is, who do the Leafs lose in the expansion draft? And I go, Hollander and a 7th. Me from July 15th goes, fucking A. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. And that is why I don't look at McCann as ever having been a Leaf. Now, there's an argument. They should have done this. They should have done that. Fine. But the situation is a big, scary monster was going to take someone from them no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a lot better than they did, I'd say, top 10% in the NHL in terms of what they lost. And Kerfoot has trade value. They can still trade him.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be on the roster come come the next season or whatever.
I kind of don't think he will be, to be honest.
And the offseason, like, it just started. Like, if the expectation is Dubas and the management are going to make some moves this offseason, well, I think we got to wait more than 3 days to assess their offseason moves. Let the couple big events happen. Let the draft happen. Let free agency happen. Then we fire the bullets about what they're doing with the roster.
Let me leave you with this then. Can I throw this at you guys?
Sure.
The amount of defensemen, the type of defenseman that Seattle took. Young and huge, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then you got Alexiak, Giordano, Larson, all those guys. What are the chances Justin Hall makes it into that group? Honestly.
100%. They would have taken Justin Hall if he was available. That was the report today. If Justin Hall was made available to Seattle, they were going to take him.
Dave Haxtell.
And we know that Dermott wouldn't have, because Haxtell and Dermott didn't get along.
Didn't want to.
That's news.
Well, it makes sense that Travis Dermott's worst 2 seasons are under Dave Haxtell. Like he's been here for 2 years. Travis Dermott's been trending down for 2 years.
Maybe that was awesome news for him.
Probably was. And he probably knew, I'm not going to get selected. The guy doesn't want me.
Yeah. But Justin Hall, that's a guy Dave Haxtell trusted on his shutdown pair. Right. Okay. So I think Hall absolutely would have been taken. Yeah. Would it have been the right choice? I don't know. But I think he absolutely would have done it.
Okay.
Can I read a tweet from Chris Johnson, who is subtweeting us?
Is he?
Can I read it?
Yeah.
Ron Francis on selecting Jared McCann from the Leafs. I'm a former Sioux Greyhound, so that helped.
Man, this is another misunderstanding I think people had from last show. You brought up the Sioux Greyhound thing, and people were like, you don't like Jared McCann because he played for the Sioux, played in the Sioux for the Greyhounds. And I'm like, no, that's not. That comment and that conversation had nothing to do with Jared McCann or the Sioux Greyhounds. It has to do with the general manager who continues to acquire people from one team of the same vintage. And I'm starting to be like, okay, man, like, are you I get it. I get it. You were at the Sioux. You knew them that well. But your job is to know many more people that well.
There was I don't remember who made the tweet, but it was basically like, okay, here are all the Sioux Greyhounds Kyle Dubas has brought on board. First of all, it's an enormous list. Second of all, they're really good.
Yeah.
Like, for the most part, they're really good.
Fine.
It is, okay, his Sioux Greyhounds thing is definitely a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's fair to say that most GMs, when they have their blind spots or their allegiances, it's often a bad thing. It often is. Mm-hmm. So it's just something I'm flagging. I have it flagged on my look at this list or whatever. But listen, most of the Sioux guys he's brought in have helped the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then there's another guy, they have a hole on left wing. Michael Bunting's available. The Leafs, they could get the whole Greyhounds band back together. They could bring him in and he would help the Leafs. And there's another Sioux guy. And I'm not going to wag my finger at Kyle Dubas for bringing in someone who's going to help the Leafs. Sometimes I feel like I don't know friggin' English. Like, so when I read, like, I don't. To some of the people who have tweeted me over the last week or two, I'm not fighting with you. I love you. Like, if you've been listening for a long time, what's going on between us? I need to know. When did I cross the line? I need to know. Like, I'm giving you my thoughts. We have these long opinions. I mean, who's going to give you a better picture of how I'm feeling right now and how this show is feeling right now? The 2-hour show that we do, or a 9-second Twitter clip?
Right. That stuff's annoying.
Can you give us some more credit than that, for the love of God?
Let it happen. Let it happen. Bring it out.
I know. Let it happen, Adam. But I think the listeners expect a lot of me, a lot of us. They expect a lot out of us because we've earned that, right? And I expect a lot out of them because they earned that, and they get suckered in by this shit. And I'm like, you know better. Come on. Let's be friends again. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm gonna say, you're gonna flag it. I am in full skepticism mode. I am raising the flag. It has nothing to do too. Again. Oh, yeah. Listen, there are blind spots, and I will expound on this on August the 4th when nothing has changed. I'm excited for that. because there's a lot with this Leafs group that we have got to stop accepting. It's not a hate. People are like, oh, it's so cool to hate Kyle Dubas. I don't fucking hate Kyle Dubas. I'm cheering for Kyle Dubas.
You gotta.
But
you don't wear. You don't.
I'm not his fucking fanboy.
We are not sitting
Kyle Dubas jersey.
We are not sitting here to be cheerleaders of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
No,
our job isn't to just be like root for them blindly.
Dude, but also, a Leafs jersey is not a Kyle Dubas jersey.
No.
Yeah. So for me, my frustration point is, like, anytime I criticize the guy, and I get it, there's going to be differing opinions and stuff like that. So that's fair. But to say that his moves have been beyond reproach, guys, at a certain point, it's got to not be about next year. At a certain point, it's got to be about what happened. I had somebody in my mentions today legitimately say, yeah, but what about if John Tavares didn't get injured? I don't give a fuck. What matters is they didn't win, and they could have won without John Tavares.
No, but like we've addressed that very specific thing,
and I'll keep addressing it until I'm blue in the face.
They're more susceptible to injury because of the salary structure of the team. Like, again, okay, I'm not picking a fight.
Yeah.
I'm not picking a fight.
Record. This is a broken record.
Yeah, broken.
Come on,
Jesse, it is a broken record. I feel like we're having the same conversation over and over again.
We've done this 100 times since June.
I'm saving my anger for when they earn it.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't earned it yet. They did a weird thing with Jared McCann.
Mm-hmm.
A weird thing. Like, I think two things can be true. I think it's right that Kyle Dubas did a smart thing that helped the Leafs, and it's right for fans to be like, you traded for a guy to lose him. Both things are right. We're both doing our role here.
I am intensely skeptical about where this is going.